Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Now in this video, I'm going to be talking about how you can live for less if you're in a big city or you're planning to move to a big city. I currently live in London. I have done for the last 10 years. And just a bit of a background on myself, I work in finance and have done for all of those years over here too. So I created this channel to hopefully help you guys save a bit more money, especially if you're living in a big city. So if that's what you're after, hopefully this video can help. Let's go. The very first thing I want to talk about is if you live in a big city and want to save a bit of money or to live for less, is to walk everywhere. I know when I first moved to London, I loved the hype of going on a tube, and getting a taxi and looking around the city that way. But honestly, this can really rack up. Even if you're just using the tube 2 or 3 times a week to get to work or to go see your friends, you could be spending about £100 plus a month, even if you're just using it sparingly. So really understand, where you live, where you want to go. London is super walkable. Same with New York. These cities are, built for people to be able to walk around. For example, it only takes me 40 minutes to get to one of London's biggest, tourist attractions here. And I don't live particularly central, but you kind of get into this mindset of, you need to hop on a tube, you need to take a taxi to get to these places. But actually, when you look on Google Maps, a lot of the times the places that you want to go are nearby because you've chosen to live there because you love that area, or else it might be near friends and you guys can walk together somewhere. So honestly, walking everywhere saves you so much money in a big city. Number 2 then is to BYOB, aka bring your own beer or booze or alcohol, or even if you don't drink, just your normal fizzy drinks, There are restaurants in a lot of big cities now that allow you to bring in your own alcohol or bring in your own drinks. Sometimes you do have to pay a corkage fee that they call it. So this would be, you have to pay the restaurant to actually open up your beer or wine. But if you don't want to eat out, which will of course save you money, you can go to a lot of parks. In London, for example, there are loads of parks around here. So instead of eating out at a restaurant, you could get, the cutest little picnic together, bring your own beer, meet your friends there. It'll be half the cost for everybody involved and often, really nice. I've noticed in London in particular that the weather here is so much better than in Ireland, where I'm from originally. It's November and I'm in a t-shirt, as you can see. It is so not cold. You can go to parks pretty much all year round here. So point number 3, speaking of clothes, is you can do clothes swaps with your friends. So I used to do this in the last place that I worked. We actually set up a clothes swap for all of our colleagues down in the basement of the building, and people were bringing in items such as blazers, jeans, t-shirts, even like boots and shoes, which is random as hell. But people would bring in items that they don't use anymore, and then we would swap them out. And honestly, it was such a good idea. I got, a Massimo Dutti blazer, which was like over £100 for completely free. I also got Levi's jeans for completely free just because they didn't fit someone else. So maybe organize these fun clothes swaps with your friends. There's also websites like Depop where you can get clothes secondhand, and especially in London, East London in particular, there's loads more vintage shops opening up. But just a point on that, please be careful. Vintage clothes and charity shops and everything like that have become a lot more popular, especially in London lately. So they can be a little bit pricier depending on the area that you're going to. But if you revert back to the clothes swap idea, I think this is the best way to get new garments, for free. Number 5 is to do meal prep and to cook a little bit extra at dinner to bring to lunch the next day in work, Don't be afraid to bring that lunchbox into work. Honestly, if you're living and working in a big city, you can get trapped into paying, £10 each day just for lunch on, a measly bit of salad and maybe a drink, It's gotten incredibly expensive in these big cities. So don't be afraid to, improve your cooking, do some meal prep, bring that food in a lunchbox into work. You will save so much money, not just, throwing that money down the drain in like a Pret or a sandwich shop that isn't even that good. So honestly, meal prep is the way forward if you want to be able to save fast. So number 6 then is to do an energetic side hustle. And what I mean by this is things like dog walking, things like, maybe cutting people's grass. It's like a double win. If you have the time and the physical health to do it, Walking a dog, for example, you could get paid about £20 an hour. I know that's what the going rate here is in London. And in that circumstance, you wouldn't have to even pay for a gym membership because you're getting paid to walk a dog and you're also getting exercise. So you're saving on your gym membership, you're meeting a nice cute doggy, and of course you're getting paid. So things like this, be a little bit creative as to how you can save money and stay healthy in a big city. Number 7 then is to really assess your current situation and not to live above your means. What is your rental situation like? Can you get a roommate? Can you maybe change the area? Things like spareroom.com is really good for understanding where you can rent a room in a house share, for example. Or if you're a student or even a professional, these websites, they can really help you cut down your costs. Yes, we all want to live alone, okay? We're all, creatures of habit, and maybe we one day want to have a studio apartment or a one-bed flat. But if you're just starting out, you're not going to move from a small town into a big city and expect to live alone off the bat, because 9 times out of 10, you won't be able to afford it. But really lean into it. This is how you will make friends in a big city. And when you think about it, all the other people in that house share will be in a similar position to you in terms of their finances, in terms of being new to a city. So it's not exactly a negative to be in a house share and to meet new people and to keep your costs down that way. And number 8 is to get into the arts. So in a lot of these big cities like London, New York, Paris, there's free art galleries to go to. In London in particular, there's an event called Tate Lates in the Tate Gallery, Tate Modern Gallery by the river. And it's completely free, okay? And it stays open late at night. They have a DJ, you can buy drinks, you can walk around and look at art, and it's the coolest building ever, okay? So really seek things out, go on social media, see what live events are on. If it's Fashion Week, for example, in London or New York or Paris, there's a lot of free events that you can go to. You can people watch, you can do, street fashion photography if that's what you want your hobby to be, or you can just get ideas by walking through, a fashion district at that time of year. There's so much to do for free in big cities that you really don't have to spend big bucks to enjoy it. So number 9 is, if you really need to take public transport, take the bus instead of the tube. For example, in London, the tube now for one way is about £3.50. However, the bus for one way is £1.75. Oftentimes it takes about the same time if you're getting to a destination, depending on where you live. But, the bus in particular, you get to see the sights. I was on the bus the other day, I got to see London Eye, I got to see Tower of London, all for £1.75, rather than, going on these tourist buses. If you're a tourist in a big city, okay, you pay, £30 plus for a ticket. So really don't, scrimp your nose up at the bus. I love the bus. If I really have to get public transport, I really try and do it that way, because you get airflow from the windows, okay, you get to see beautiful London, and it's cheaper. Number 10 then is to always be prepared. And what I mean by this is, if you are living in a rainy city, always have an umbrella in your bag. Don't get caught out having to buy something that you already have just because you weren't prepared. Also, if you're in a colder city, like coming up to the winter months, if you're in Dublin in Ireland, for example, it's going to be cold. So bring a spare, hat, gloves or jumper in your bag, whatever you need, okay, just be prepared. Similarly with snacks, okay, if you're going to be on the go a lot that day, bring an energy bar, bring some water in your bag. Don't be caught out when you're in these big cities, because you will have to pay so much more money than you want to get an umbrella if it rains, or, to get a snack because you're hungry, even though you have snacks at home, okay? So what kind of cities do you guys live in? Does anyone else live in London, or are you more American based like New York or even LA? What are the best tips that you can share down below if you feel like you've lived in a city long enough to share all these tips to save money? I know for me, I am not on a huge salary at all, okay? And I've been able to live comfortably in London for the last 10 years. So I think by implementing these tips, you can of course save more money, you can have more fun, and you can be more conscious about where your money is going. I've honestly spent so much time in my kitchen here to meal prep, to bring meals out with me to work, to bring out snacks, and it's been a joy to learn a new skill and also save money. As I said, I'm a pretty new channel. I tend to post 2 videos a week, so if you want to learn more about personal finance or living in a big city, hopefully this can help you. But I'll see you soon, guys. Thanks for listening. Bye.